Hey guys, this is my fourth video of the series to do with wound healing and scar management. So, as I said in the last few vids, wound healing post-op and scar management post-op is to be optimized to get the best results from your surgery during transition. So the last stage of wound healing is remodeling. And I left the third stage on the board because these two stages, we flip between the two of them over the healing period. So as we know, the third stage starts at 3 days and goes to about 3 weeks, and the fourth stage starts at around 3 weeks and continues to 1 year to 3 years. Okay, so obviously if you've had surgery and you've had, decent type of surgery like major recalibration of organs or like hysterectomy or like top surgery or facial feminization surgery or even bottom surgery, you'll know that, after 1 year, there's still a lot that happens. And there's still a lot of change and there's still a lot of remodeling that goes on, and scars fade over that time and they look different at 1 year and 2 years and 3 years post-op. So these two phases of wound healing and scar management, they occur. We go from remodeling, we go back to migration and proliferation, back to remodeling, back to migration and proliferation. And it is all determined by the activity of the fibroblasts in the tissue. So the fibroblasts are the cells that lay down the extracellular matrix and create the scar tissue that is remodeled. And so remodeling occurs after the scar tissue is laid down, which is why it starts at 3 weeks. As we all know, if we've had surgery, that we notice that the scar is formed at about 3 weeks. You can tell that the tissues have come together. There's something holding them together, and there's a seal there that stops you from being able to see inside yourself and all that gross stuff. So remodeling occurs then. Remodeling is all about organizing the scar tissue and the extracellular matrix. And the reason we have it is so that the scar tissue is aligned with the normal vectors of force that go through the skin. So we want to move our arm up and down and around and stretch out. And so the scar tissues, they need to be able to allow that movement to happen. And that goes for any scar tissue anywhere in the body, including internal scarring, is the same thing. So this new matrix that's been formed, it starts to cross-link at this stage at about 3 weeks, becomes stronger by cross-linking. And when we organize it, it organizes in rows, or it can organize in rows like that, or it can organize in cross-links, depending on, again, the lines of force that happen at this time. And this is usually coinciding with a drop in swelling, bruising, and pain at 3 weeks. And we all know, if we've had surgery, that usually around 3 weeks we're feeling a lot better. And because we're in less pain, we can do more. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. We just need to always regulate what we do, how we do it, and how much we do, right? So at 3 weeks, for example, post-op, top surgery, should be able to start working on some gentle range of motion exercises to start to stretch out the muscle contractures and things like that. Same with bottom surgeries and hysterectomies. We're able to start walking and doing more activity and actually engaging the pelvic floor. And facial feminization as well, like you'd notice that you can start to use your expressions and chew and swallow and use normal food utensils by that stage as well, just because there's less pain and swelling associated with that. Obviously everything's done within a limit, so you start with the most gentlest types of exercises and you slowly, gradually increase those. So it's still a good idea that, people aren't back at work and things like this at this stage. Because you don't want to do too much. So what is the best thing to do at this fourth stage? So at 3 weeks is when the scar tissue is there, it's apparent, and this remodeling occurs, right? But at 3 weeks, it's good to just be looking at still supporting the body and not trying to change it. So we're still trying to support the production of scar tissue in the right places. And so that means controlling swelling and controlling any extra bruising or extra movement that could re-injure the body. So at 3 weeks, the type of therapies that I recommend adding gels and creams to your regime, like putting creams on or gels that help the body to heal, and lymphatic drainage massage. So lymphatic drainage. There you go. So lymphatic drainage is like a type of massage. It's very soft, and it's got a purposeful direction of flushing the extra swelling out of the area by gently massaging the area. And I'm going to show you guys how to do a little bit of that at some point. The other thing you can start adding at 3 weeks is like creams, gels, like I said. So I'd be adding those in to help the body to heal and to help the body remodel in a really, in an optimal way. So the main gels that I like and recommend are silicone-based gels. And like I even had a really good friend who told me he just used silicone-based lube as his cream. And so that was pretty cool. So anything silicone-based is great. The extracellular matrix loves silicone. It kind of makes... The extracellular matrix is made out of that kind of stuff, so it's like a really good thing to add to the area. And you're putting it direct to the area. It's absorbing through the skin directly to the scar tissue site where it's needed. So it's a really great delivery system as well. Other gels include Renew 28 with Biosea, and Renew 28 is amazing. It's not a silicone base and it's not a moisturizer or anything like that. It just delivers redox molecules to the area. And redox molecules are the molecules that your own body makes when it needs to heal, or when it needs to signal other cells to heal, or when it needs to have a high turnover of cellular activity, which is what you want in a remodeling phase at this time. So it's like a super healer gel. So I recommend Biosea to everyone who's had surgery to put on the site, or they've got like a liquid drink you can take, and that does the same thing but from inside. So it's really amazing. So that's that thing. So by 3 months, while the remodeling stage is still going at 3 months, that's when you can start engaging in more of the hardcore massage techniques like scar tissue massage if you feel like you need it. So the things that would direct you to get a scar tissue massage or to do it yourself would be that, you know, the scar's a bit lumpy in some areas, you still have some swelling, it's a bit red at times or gone purple or whatever, things like that. Like if you don't feel like it's healing the best it can, you can engage someone or do it yourself and do scar massage. I always think that if your scars are big enough and prominent enough, like top surgery scars can be, scar massage should be part of like your nightly routine after 3 months. So the oil that I would use at 3 months for scar tissue massage would be a vitamin E capsuled oil. So you can buy vitamin E that you can take as a supplement, and it's a really great supplement. It's a very strong antioxidant, heals tissues, which is why it's so good. And what I would do is get that capsuled vitamin E, poke a hole in the capsule, squeeze the oil out, and then do a scar tissue massage with that oil. Reason being that the vitamin E from capsules is much stronger and more potent, and you're delivering that straight to the site rather than taking it. Also, like vitamin E creams and vitamin E gels, they tend to be washed out, so they're not as strong. So the vitamin E in those is like much better. Now, supplement-wise, at this stage. So supplement-wise, you'd probably still be wanting to do the right thing by yourself diet-wise. But things you can take are like vitamin E. Antioxidants are super important, and keeping up your greens, okay? Keeping your body alkalized. You can do this in the same way that you would have done at stage 1. Using powders, green powders or algae powders, or just, having a green juice every day or eating lots of green veggies. Having a bowl of spinach with dinner is a really easy way to do it. So that's just great. Like, you can't really go past that for alkalizing an area. Keeping your blood clean to keep the scar clean. Scars, like from an alternative therapy point of view, scars are always a great reflection of what the composition of the body. So if the scar is red and hot and inflamed and cranky, you can pretty much say that that body is running red, hot and cranky and inflamed. And so you want to address that, and you address that through the diet, and you address that through people's lifestyles. And a really good way to counter that is by using greens, eating greens, having green juices and things like that. Obviously, if you can get to the cause of the problem, that's a much better way to do it, but this is a good way just to negate it at the time when you need it. Other things that are super important are continuing or using antioxidants at this time. Antioxidants include things like resveratrol, quercetin, N-acetylcysteine, and glutathione, all of which I've talked about in my previous videos. And they're great antioxidants to bring at this time, just to help continual remodeling and the migration and proliferation. So just keeping that area continually active is great. The other thing that's really good for scar tissue, and even wound healing. So, for example, you could do this type of wound healing from the beginning, from stage 1. So basically, as soon as you get out of hospital, if you can get to a place that does this, and you just continually do it until you feel satisfied. Obviously, the further down the remodeling phase you go, the less you need it. However, I had it done 2 to 3 years after 2 years after top surgery, and I still had mad results. So what I'm talking about is something called cold laser therapy or non-thermal laser. Let me write that down. I am going to do a video on its own just about cold laser therapy. It's just an incredible therapy. It's used a lot for like anti-aging and healing in general as well. So cold laser therapy, you should be able to find a cold laser therapist anywhere where you live. My chiropractor does cold laser therapy, and I saw her for laser 5 days after surgery, after hysterectomy, and she did my chest scars as well, and I saw a major difference the next day in color. And so the whole idea behind cold laser therapy is it applies a frequency of laser into the tissues. There are different frequencies that cause different effects, hence why you can do it for wound healing and scar tissue healing, and they're different frequencies. So for the scar tissue healing, what it does is it increases the turnover of fibroblasts, so it increases the activity of stage 3. It brings more blood to the area, which helps with stage 3, and then obviously creates more remodeling, which is what you want. More healing of that scar tissue, more organization of the scar tissue. So yeah, so they are my recommendations for stage 4. You got a lot more to play with at stage 4, and so we'll probably revisit that at some point. Otherwise, happy healing.